everyone, to our 2023 Innovators Retreat. Today, we're going to focus on helping students develop intrinsic motivation for learning Jewish texts and living authentic Jewish lives.
When you look at intrinsic motivation, there's a theorist who talks about the idea of flow, which is that you become so engrossed and happy in what you're doing, you literally lose sense of time and stuff. See, in 3,300 years of Judaism, that red thing at the end is how long we've had grades. We have managed for 3,200 years not to have grades to teach the religion through a lot of terrible times, and yet in the last 100 years, we seem to be completely cognitively entrenched in the idea that we need grades for some reason.
We are exploring, I think, an idea that has been bothering a lot of Jewish educators for a while: extrinsic, intrinsic motivation. And the idea of how can we make sure that what we're doing in the classroom is only ever helping a student develop a positive Jewish identity, and I would say positive Jewish life skill set, and not, God forbid, distracting or detracting from a student's lifelong Jewish journey.
And you don't have to have gold stars, but children are out there learning and having fun because they're intrinsically motivated. And it was wonderful to realize that we can bring this back into our schools, and it was intriguing thinking about what that model might look like.
Our goal is to illuminate the areas in which we can move our students from low-level reward seeking to being seekers of the highest level of pleasure in Jewish studies. As we together move the field toward feeding a student's soul with high-level pleasure instead of low-level motivation like grades, we literally become change agents for a stronger future for the Jewish people. That's why there's a holiness in Jewish studies. It's God-centered and human being-centered at the same time.
Grading systems can exacerbate stress and mental health challenges among students. And surely we all know at this time how critical that is. Even receiving high grades may decrease intrinsic motivation due to the perceived external pressure for reward, eroding our need for autonomy.
You each have in your keystone position in the Jewish day school field, and we hope these episodes inspire you to innovate, experiment, and collaborate.
When it works, it's an orchestra. It's a beautiful concert. It just is beautiful for the teacher, and it's beautiful for the students, because teaching is this reciprocal, symbiotic relationship between teacher and student, right? When it works for the students, it works for the teacher. When it works for the teacher, it works for the students.
If we don't achieve a level of intrinsic motivation with our students, especially around Judaic studies, we've completely missed the boat, because ultimately we want our students to love living Jewishly, being Jewish. We want them to be able to use their Jewish studies as their GPS in life, which means that it has to be part of their intrinsic reason for behaving the way that they do. So that video really started it off, and the video about the damage that we do to kids when we give them a grade for whether or not they passed Rosh Hashanah, which when you see it, it never made sense to me. But when you see it in a video and when you're able to show it to your educators, it really highlights how silly it is, how meaningless it is to tell students that they failed a Jewish holiday or their Jewish studies.
as a parent and as a community member, you want to raise your children to be as happy as possible, but also prepared for what the world brings. And this idea of being able to provide a Jewish education and being unmarked by it, but also so deeply marked in a positive way, it really got me thinking.
In order to make sure our students don't turn out like the tiger I described, if they turn out to be greater leaders, more powerful, more in touch with who they are, incredible self-learners, being able to self-author their own adventure with a Kodesh Baruch Hu. What I suggest we do is figure out how to convince everyone who's not in this room that we need to move in that direction.
If our hope is, if our goal is to educate, to uplift, to inspire, and our student body should identify with, should be proud, should carry their Judaism with a smile and with pride, it needs to be theirs. Intrinsic motivation, hence, is critical into the educational equation.